What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Joey Wright, and we are without John Luke for one more day, but Daddy's coming home tomorrow, so get ready. Joining us today, the last day without JL, we have our great friend and special guest, Geoff Lambert, here with us. For those of you that do not know Geoff, get with the freaking program and check out what he's doing over at Going for Two and Going for Two Live, which he is the founder of. He's a writer and ranker at Fantasy Pros as well. And Geoff, we love having you on. It's been too long, my friend.
Absolutely, man. Glad to be back on here. I love doing the show. It's one of my favorite shows to do.
And we got new long hair Geoff coming on the stream today. It's a new man over here.
Yeah, I see Jay's comment over in the chat there that he thought Geoff was coming on, not the dude.
Do you get that a lot?
Yes, absolutely.
I was going to say,
when I have my sunglasses on, especially.
As soon as he said it, I was like, oh, that is exactly what you look like. We got Craig in the chat ready for today's show. Our historian saying today's guest is making his fourth FYF appearance and playing in his third FYF game. Looking for his first win and played in the 7th ever Fantasy Fortune game back on 8/18/21. Wow. So you played this game in its infancy. Back for some revenge on this one. And we have Victor in the chat with an hola bro chacho. Smash that like button. What's up, Victor? Welcome. Albert stopping by to say hello. And Dustin in the chat, excited to see Geoff up here, but he's not abandoning Team Joe.
I was about to say, whoa, Dustin. It's all right. Okay.
So Victor said hat game today. Yeah, we sent a memo out before the show. Better get your hats. So everybody showed up with one ready to rock. We got Dave in here. What's up, Dave? Happy double belated birthday. I'm going to say it every day for the next week because it's your birth week, baby. And we got Scott Fish in here saying no JL, but we get GL.
This is true.
It's almost the same. And Mr. Scamper's in here, our favorite chat cat with the FYF. Ooh, baby. Except I did that not like New Kids on the Block because I read that after I did the ooh, baby in there. Herm's down in here saying, what up, friendos? Welcome in, Herms.
I get it.
And Dame coming in here. Woohoo, FYF time. Glad to have you in here.
Can we go back so I can sing it?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it, Joey.
Okay. I think it's FYF. Ooh, baby. Gonna get you in my world. I can't sing, but I wanted to give Scampers what he asked for.
With a new Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Also, Herm's down here with Simon Wins the Show. The throwback Nuggets hat is sick. Shout out my sister who moved to Colorado this year and has been scouring thrift shops for vintage Denver sports hats for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some good scores from her. And then we got Scampers in here excited that Geoff's on the show as well. Happy Wednesday, fam. And just some love for Geoff coming in here. Geoff, do you want to tell us a little bit about your new setup there? You've moved locations. Is that a new penthouse that you're living in?
Yeah, I decided to get rid of the green screen and just show y'all, the place that I live in with my nice view of Washington, D.C. back there. Going for Two is doing really, really well. This is the Going for Two money right here.
Yeah, maybe one day you'll be able to upgrade to something really nice, but for now that's absolutely beautiful. Guys, today we brought Geoff here to play a game that we're calling Fantasy Fortune. Like we mentioned, Geoff has played before, the 7th ever appearance of this game, but he's coming back for revenge to take Joey down in a head-to-head matchup today. Before we get into that, a couple reminders. First and foremost, I have the hiccups, so sorry for the delay there. But second most, if you're not already following our guest, Geoff, you need to go and fix that right now. You can find him on Twitter at Geoff Lambert77. And while you're there, make sure you follow the Going for Two and Going for Two live accounts as well, so you don't miss out on the awesome shows that they are putting out over there. After you do that, if you're watching this show, that means you're probably on our YouTube or the BSN YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell to make sure you never miss any of our live shows. Maybe you were taking like a really intense afternoon poop and got sucked into a People magazine article and 3 o'clock hit and you didn't even realize it. But if you had that notification bell hit, it would have let you know it's time to wrap up, wipe that bum, and get to your computer so you can watch those FYF guys.
Careful when you wipe your bum, people.
And wash your hands, your hands before you come here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Today I was at the rock climbing gym and there was a guy in the bathroom who went poop, walked straight out while I was washing my hands at the rock climbing gym. He like where you're about to go and touch everything that everybody else is touching. And for the rest of the time, I was like, I should have said something immediately because I kept seeing him in the gym and I wanted to go up and be like, hey, you didn't wash your hands, bitch. But you can't do that afterwards without seeming like super aggressive.
Did he have like sanitizing chalk?
No, he had dirty butt chalk. Is what he
would
was
it
using,
make like a paste? Would it make a paste?
They do make liquid chalk that has alcohol in it to dry your hands out. So maybe if you use the liquid chalk, that would have been all right.
Just trying to
I guess he probably didn't.
No, he just rubbed his poop all over the rocks the entire time he was there. But guys, we are not here just to talk about rock climbing and not washing your hands. So I'm sure or washing hands talk at some point. We are here to play some Fantasy Fortune. I'm going to explain how this works, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. The game today is Fantasy Fortune, and if you've ever watched a Wheel of Fortune, it's going to look pretty familiar to you, but there are some small twists of this game that we're playing today. Instead of spinning a wheel, contestants are going to be answering 50-50 NFL or fantasy-related trivia questions in order to guess the letter. I may ask you something like, who scored more PPR fantasy points last year? Marquise Brown or Christian Kirk? Get the question right, you're going to get to guess a consonant that you think appears in the puzzle that is on the board. Get it wrong, your turn is over. Now, you're going to be able to do the get a question right, get a consonant right up to 3 times in a row. But if you get 3 in a row right, we are going to move on to the next contestant. Your turn will also end at any point if a letter you guess is incorrect or if your answer to a question is incorrect. But during your turn, there are 2 additional actions you can take before a question has been asked. You can choose to solve the puzzle, which will earn you $1,000 or the total amount of money in your round bank, whichever one is higher, or you can choose to purchase a vowel, which will cost you $100 per instance of the vowel that shows up to a max of $500. I'm going to require you have a minimum of $500 in your round bank in order to do that, though. So if you haven't earned any money that round, you're not buying any vowels either. All right, we're going to go like this till we run out of puzzles, run out of time, or run out of hats to change into, at which point we will end the show. You guys ready to get in there?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Well, guys, before we get into that, I want to remind everybody about a new show here on Better Sports Network, Sports Better Court. It's going to be on tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and hosted by sports attorney and Professor Dan Lust. And he's going to be covering the legal angles of sports. So that's Sports Better Court tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Better Sports Network. Now, you guys remember all of those rules that I just explained?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're throwing every single one of them out of the door for this first puzzle because it is a toss-up. Instead of answering questions, I'm just going to slowly reveal letters in this player's name. When you think you know who it is, say your name to buzz in, and you'll get one shot to guess who it is. Get it right, we're adding $500 to your round bank, and you will get to go first in the next round. Get it wrong, and you are out for the remainder of this round, leaving your opponent the opportunity to just, I guess, wait till all the letters are revealed and take $500 from you.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to start revealing letters. When you think you know the answer, say your name.
Joey.
Okay, Joey. Who is this player?
Devon A-Chain.
This is Devon A-Chain, Joey. Congratulations. You are adding $500 to your round bank, and you're going to get to go first in the next round. Before we move on from this puzzle, though, I did want to ask you guys, Joey, I'll start with you, how you're feeling about this rookie going into this upcoming season. It seems like, as of right now, without the Dalvin Cook signing, a pretty wide open job there in Miami.
Yeah, before the Dalvin Cook news was kind of spreading there, I was really high on him. I had him as high as I believe it was my 3rd best running back in this draft class to have for this season, a redraft. But with all this Dalvin Cook news, I'm a little nervous on drafting him. I had a few opportunities in Scott Fishbowl to take him, and I passed each time. I think he ended up going like 12th round, and I was a little uncomfortable taking him. So I kind of want to see that news shake out before I'm going to start drafting him again.
Jeff, where do you land on this rookie? Do you have more optimism for him?
No, I have less because I was actually not high on him at any point, even when he got the quote-unquote good landing spot. I think he's a good NFL player. He'll be a good piece in that offense. He'll make you think, you're going to have to account for him on the field. It's going to open some things up. But for fantasy, he'll have to be super, super efficient for him to be relevant in fantasy, I think. I don't think he gets enough touches. He'll be a big play threat, but good luck predicting when that's going to happen. I think he's more of a best ball kind of guy that I'm going to look for, but I just don't see him getting enough workload in that offense to be fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I know there's concerns about his size as well holding up down there. And then you just look at the list of running backs there in Miami, even if they don't add Dalvin Cook. And we just haven't seen him on an NFL field to know that he's going to definitively beat out Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert and the long list of guys they got sitting back there. But that being said, there's not very many rookies that are in a spot where they could steal as much of that workload. So I understand the hype behind drafting a dude like that. Yeah. Mr. Scampers in here has a suggestion for you, Jeff, a baby grand piano in every room next to each full-size grand piano to really upgrade.
I like it.
That's next season. That's next off season where you make those upgrades. We had some guesses in the chat. Scampers thought it was Drake London.
I did too.
Grim thought it was Brock Lesnar. And Dustin came in and got it right with Devon A-Chain. Nice job. Also,
Brock Lesnar did play in the NFL. He played for the Vikings.
What position?
Didn't play in any regular season games. I think he was a linebacker.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he did for the preseason. They had him out there every week, and then they cut him.
Jay said, don't forget about Jeff Wilson. I will not forget about Jeff Wilson. Last year, I tried to make Jeff Wilson not happen every single week before he did really well. I said, no way. He's not doing it again. So this year, I'm not making that mistake. If the opportunity is ever clearly in front of Jeff Wilson, I'll be starting Jeff Wilson because he seems to do pretty well when given that.
He's who I think A-Chain's most competition is
you think
Jeff
so?
Wilson and not Mostert. Mostert's turning 32 this season.
But he's fast, right? But he's so fast, Joey. Herm said a chain equals small zoomy boy and is therefore hashtag good. Just like Greg Dortch and who are all the other small zoomy boys?
Tutu Atwell.
There we go. There's another one. Also, Craig down here saying Brock was an offensive lineman.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was offensive lineman.
Confirming there, or Grim confirming, and Herm's coming in saying Brock Lesnar was a professional wrestler, you idiot.
Very good.
I like that one. All right, well, guys, we're going to move on to our next round here. Joey, you're going to be going first for puzzle number 2. And your category here is horrible team names. This is going to be a fantasy football team name that I think is objectively horrible. So this is, I guess, subjective, even though I just said objective, but it's what I think is objectively horrible. Joey, you're going to go first. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve? Or those are your only options right now?
I'll take a question, please, Simon.
Before I ask Joey the question, a reminder to our contestants to have the screen full screened or be out of the chat so that you cannot see what the chat is saying. And a reminder to the chat to play along. Throw your answers in there. If you're right, we'll shout you out, especially if you get it before our contestants here on the screen. All right, Joey, here is your first question in today's game. What I want to know is which team had more passing touchdowns last year? Which team had more passing touchdowns? Was it the Philadelphia Eagles or was it the New England Patriots?
Oh, man. I think you're trying to trick me. I'm going to go, man, because Miles Sanders had a lot of touchdowns. So did Jalen Hurts rushing. I'm going to go with the Patriots, actually.
Joey, with 25-19, it was the Philadelphia Eagles who had more passing touchdowns last season. But way fewer than I thought with the Eagles only having 25 passing touchdowns, which means, Jeff, Joey so graciously passed to you for this first puzzle. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Let's do a question.
Okay. My question for you is who had more passing touchdowns last season? Which team had more passing touchdowns? Was it the Washington Commanders or was it the San Francisco 49ers?
Say that one more time and make sure I heard it right.
More passing touchdowns last season, the Washington Commanders or the San Francisco 49ers?
So I live in Washington, D.C., so I get to see them firsthand, and I'm a Niners fan, so this is an interesting question that I got. I'm going to go 49ers. Their offense was so much better than theirs, and I know there's, quarterback issues last year, but I think overall, I think we still would have had more passing touchdowns.
30-24, you are correct, Jeff. Which letter would you like in this puzzle?
Let's go with T.
T. There are 2 T's in here. You're going to add 1,000 to your round score. You can now purchase a vowel if you would like to do so. You can solve the puzzle, or you can take your question number 2.
Let me go ahead and purchase an E.
An E. There are 2 E's in this puzzle. We're going to subtract 200. Your options remain the same.
Let's go ahead and take a question here.
Okay, question number 2.
So dumb, Simon.
What I want to know is which player had more PPR fantasy points last season? Which player had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it DK Metcalf or was it Amon-Ra St. Brown?
So I know everybody is down on DK Metcalf because he only scored 6 touchdowns, but I know he had a career high receptions and a career high in targets, and he still had over 1,000 yards. But I think it was still Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's my final answer, Amon-Ra.
And Amon-Ra would be absolutely correct. Nice job. DK Metcalf, I feel like for how down people are, he did better than it's being represented. He was the wide receiver 16, but Amon-Ra finishes the wide receiver 7. Which letter would you like for getting that one right, Jeff?
Let's just go with S.
S. There is 1 S in this puzzle. Going to add another 500. Jeff, this is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn if you would like to do so. Otherwise, we can move on to your third and final question, or you can solve this.
Let's buy an I.
An I. There are 2 I's in this puzzle, and that is all of the vowels. So there are no more vowels here. You can choose to take your next question or solve this puzzle right here.
I'm going to take my next question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Jerry Jeudy or was it Tyler Lockett?
Ooh, that's tough because Jeudy missed some games, but he came on strong at the end. But I do know Lockett had the touchdowns because he had more than DK last year. And I don't believe he missed any games. Let me go with Tyler Lockett on this one.
Tyler Lockett would be absolutely correct. Nice job, Geoff. That's 3 questions right. If this letter is on the board, you will bank all of this money, whether you solve the puzzle or not. If this letter's wrong, it'll move on to Joey right at the buzzer.
Let's go with H.
H. There are 2 H's in this puzzle. We're going to add $1,000. Geoff, you've got 5 seconds to solve before we move on to Joey for his turn.
The Price is Right.
Can you say that for me one more time?
The Price is Right. I don't think that's right, though.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect. But, Geoff, you're still going to bank that $2,100. And this is going to go to Joey, who was making noises like he solved this.
Yeah, I solved it a while ago. I might need to take some questions, though, just to get some points. Wait, I have 500 in my round bank.
Oh, yeah, you do have no, that was supposed to be in this bank because you got it from the first round.
Sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and solve and just hope for the best going forth. The Bryce is Right.
Joey, this is The Bryce is Right instead of The Price is Right. Nice job on that one. Going to earn you $1,000. Still behind Geoff, but this is a
well played, Geoff.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't right, but I had 5 seconds, so I just guessed what I thought. I was like, okay, this is something that makes sense.
Got all that money. That's the key.
The chat was on this one. Dustin came in and said, pretty sure I know this one with no letters, and then got The Bryce is Right, a no-letter solve. Scampers thought it was Our Poops in Cups is a bad name. That would be a pretty bad team name. And Craig thought it was The Joey is Right.
It's extra E in there.
Pretty close.
Should be.
Grim fan in here coming in with The Bryce is Right as well. Nice job, guys. Nice job, Dustin. Before we move on from this question, Geoff, I want to ask you, what is your fantasy outlook for the rookie quarterback Bryce Young this year? He was drafted as high as you can get drafted, but he is going into a situation of a team that had the first overall pick. Do you think there's any reason to draft him in fantasy in year 1?
Yeah, in redraft leagues, I would take a flyer on him late. I've said a couple times in different podcasts that in redraft, as far as the rookies go, I'm taking Bryce first in redraft. In Dynasty, I'm taking a chance on Anthony Richardson. I just think his upside is so much higher. His floor is obviously so much lower than Bryce. But, if I'm one of those wait on quarterback kind of guys, which I am, Bryce is one of those guys I'd be targeting at the end. People talk about AR's ability to run, but they forget that Bryce Young can also run. It's like we forgot about that. So there's that ability to run the ball can also add some floor to his ceiling, obviously.
Joey, rookies aren't always known for being able to support multiple receiving options in that offense their first year. It's notorious of rookie quarterbacks to not be able to support more than one. If you're putting your money on one receiving option there in that Panthers offense, who's it going to be?
Adam Thielen. He was a top 15 red zone target last season. So as far as a fantasy wide receiver, I think Adam Thielen's going to be serviceable. Good flex option, wide receiver 3, if you need him there. But I was really high on Mingo coming out of the draft.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
Yeah, but it is Thielen. I think Mingo's going to come along. DJ Shark's there as well. And I think Chuba Hubbard might lead the running backs in receptions this season. So, but I think Adam Thielen would be the safest bet for me.
Yeah, it's not a sexy pick grabbing Thielen there in those rounds, but it just might be a double-digit touchdown pick that you're able to grab way down there.
Exactly.
If he's used that same way. Before we move on to the next question, we had a question in here from Grim Fan about wide receiver Denzel Mims potentially being released from the Jets. Geoff, do you have any teams that you think could use Denzel Mims, or is there any chance he reaches fantasy relevancy this year?
That second question is definitely no. And is there anywhere that he could go where he would gain value? I mean, you could throw them in the mix with the Houston Texans because they really have no standout receiver there.
Yeah.
But he's just been so bad through his entire career. I think the only team that will take him right now is like Food Lion. I don't know if there's anybody else that's going to really use him in the NFL right now. I just don't think he's got much of a career left.
I'm with you. He may bounce around to a couple more teams, but nothing that's going to be fantasy relevant in my mind. We got our friend Cal in here. What's up, Cal? Saying, what's up, everyone? And Scott saying,
Hey,
Joey and Ian equal Mingo lovers. And Siobhan thought you said Jonathan Mango. All right, well, guys, we're going to move on to our next puzzle here. Puzzle number 3 of the day. And this one is rhyme time. Rhyme time. This could be something like playing clarinet with Jacoby Brissett, or dancing in the club with Nick Chubb, or a whole assortment of things. Basically, there's going to be a player name and at least one word that rhymes with it somewhere in this clue. That's all the information that you get.
Brutal.
Jeff, Joey solved that last one, which means, Jeff, you're going to be going first in this puzzle. Would you like a question, or would you like to no letter solve this?
Let's go with a question here. This looks difficult.
Yeah, rhyme time. If someone no letter solved a rhyme time, there would have to be serious investigations into collusion and cheating at that point. Well, here's your first question. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Latavius Murray, or was it Kenneth Walker?
Oh, I feel like you're trying to trick me, because it's the obvious answer would be to take Kenneth Walker. Let's see. Kenneth Walker, I know he had over 1,000 yards. He only played part of the season, though. I'm going to go with my first instinct and say Kenneth Walker.
And your first instinct would be right. The tricks don't work if I don't throw some reverse tricks in there from time to time. Jeff, you got that one right, which means you get to choose a letter. Which one will it be?
Let's go with T.
T. There are 2 T's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000 to your round bank. You can now buy a vowel, take your second question, or solve this puzzle.
Let me buy a value. Let me get an E.
An E. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 E's in this puzzle, but we are just going to subtract 500, as those are the rules. But your options remain the same because you still have $500. What would you like to do now?
Give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is, who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Tony Pollard, or was it Jamal Williams?
Oh, that's got to be Jamal Williams. He had 18 touchdowns. Didn't catch much, didn't get a lot of yards, but 18 touchdowns would be hard to overcome. Let me go with Jamal Williams.
I'm sorry. Tony Pollard had enough to overcome it. He was the number 8 PPR running back last season. Jamal Williams down at number 13. I didn't realize how high Tony Pollard finished until every time I look at those end of season rankings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which means, Joey, with a bunch of E's on the board, we are moving on to you. Would you like a question, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Samaje Perine, or was it Ezekiel Elliott?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott is correct by about 40 PPR fantasy points. Which letter would you like,
Tried
Joey?
to trick me. N as in Nancy.
N as in no way, Jose. There are 5 N's in this puzzle, adding $2,500 to your round bank, Joey. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like your next question, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question. I've got some of it.
My question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it AJ Dillon, or was it Rachaad White?
Oh, farts. PPR fantasy points?
PPR fantasy points. All my fantasy points questions will be PPR.
Rachaad White?
I'm sorry, Joey. It was AJ Dillon with more PPR fantasy points, which means we are back to you, Jeff. Jeff, you can solve this puzzle. You can buy a vowel, or you can take a question.
Take a question here.
Okay, my question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Travis Etienne Jr., or was it Dameon Pierce?
No, Dameon Pierce didn't finish the season, and that wasn't a very good offense. So give me Travis Etienne.
You got that one correct, Jeff. Which letter would you like?
Crap. Let's go with R.
I didn't plan this far ahead. You would like an R?
Yeah.
There are 3 R's in this puzzle, going to add around $1,500, bringing you up to $2,000. You can choose to buy a vowel, you can choose to solve, or you can take your second question.
Oh, I've almost got it. I can't figure out what. Let's go with my next question.
Okay. My next question for you is going to be a receiving yards question. What I want to know is who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Chris Olave or was it Travis Kelce?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce, but I'm not too confident on that one.
It is Travis Kelce by about 300 receiving yards. Nice job, Geoff. Question number 2 in the book. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an F.
An F. There are 2 Fs in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000. It's your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn. You can choose to solve, or we can move on to your third and final question.
I think I'm gonna solve it.
Okay. Say it exactly as it is up on the board.
All right. A weekend of romance in France with Trey Lance.
This is a weekend of romance in France with Trey Lance. Nice job, Geoff. That is going to earn you that $3,000 into your bank, bringing you up to $5,100. The chat was circling around this one. Scampers got with Trey Lance. Grimfan came in and had a weekend of. Calvin came in and said in. He got that word for everybody. And then Scampers had a weekend of blank in France with Trey Lance. And then put it together with romance. Jay putting it all together as well. Calvin with the ding, ding, ding. And Grim coming in saying, I typed too slow. Also, Dustin said the rare triple rhyme. When you're going to France with Trey Lance, there's going to be romance. It has to rhyme triple at that point. Geoff, what do you think is going to happen with Trey Lance this year? 3rd overall pick, got a little bit of playing time, but then Brock Purdy comes in and looks like a superstar franchise quarterback. Are we going to see any long-term starts from him in this San Francisco offense, or is he going to end up on another team, or is he relegated to backup duty?
So I've been saying for a while now that it is Purdy's job. If he is healthy for week 1, the only way Trey Lance can win that job back is if Purdy is hurt to start the season and Lance balls out in those first few games without Purdy. With that said, the rumor is that Trey Lance has fallen to 3rd on the depth chart. I don't believe that. I think he's still number 2 in the depth chart. However, there's rumors that he, potentially could be traded, and I've heard the Atlanta Falcons mentioned as being interested in Trey Lance. So if it gets to the point where they reach an agreement and they move Trey Lance, it wouldn't surprise me because Sam Darnold being our 3rd quarterback, it's the first time I think since Shanahan has been there with the team that they've had a serviceable NFL quarterback at the number 3. So I think there was a reason they went out and got him just in case something like this happened where they could move Trey Lance and then have Darnold be the backup there for Purdy.
Man, that was the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Sam Darnold, I think.
Yeah, serviceable.
Wasn't there Sam Darnold? I hadn't thought about him in a minute. Then we got that news that he signed. And then did you see the article that came out saying that he swears to God George Kittle's house is haunted? Like the same guy who said he was seeing ghosts on the field now went on the record saying George Kittle's house is haunted, man. There are ghosts in there. He's seeing ghosts everywhere.
It's hilarious. I will say there's a special place in my heart for Sam Darnold because I rode him and Jerick McKinnon have some injuries to a championship last year. I had Darnold as my quarterback because I lost Kyler Murray and my backup Ryan Tannehill. So I had to put Darnold in there, and Mr. Jerick McKinnon carried me to a chip. So I got a special place for Darnold.
Joey, do you have any hope that former 3rd overall pick Trey Lance is going to find a starting job this year, either with the 49ers or elsewhere?
Are you asking my stance on Trey Lance?
I'm asking your stance on Trey Lance, Joey.
Thank you. I've been sitting on that one for 2 minutes.
Thank you for saving it.
Trey Lance is one of the players that if Baker doesn't work out, I hope the Bucs do kind of kick the tires on. So I think it's funny he mentions the Falcons. I hope the Bucs get the inside edge on him. Because if we don't get Caleb Williams, Trey Lance, or if Kyler is going to come there, that'd be nice too. One of those 2 guys I'd like to see. As far as for this season, I think it's Brock Purdy's job. I really do. I think he did everything he had to do last year to prove that he should get the start for the 49ers to start the season.
The one take I have on Baker Mayfield now is after watching the first episode of Quarterbacks, I'm probably going to finish that show by the end of this week. It's phenomenal. I need Baker Mayfield on the next season. I need a camera crew following Baker Mayfield around, earning that job with the Bucs next year. That's all I need. If we could get that draft class, like Baker, Allen, Lamar as the 3 quarterbacks in there. I don't think Lamar would ever do it. Dude's private, but that would be so much fun.
Before Dustin says it, let's give Kyle Trask a chance too, but
Craig down here says Geoff is out for blood today. Yeah, he's got a big
man.
old lead, but there is time to come back, Joey. So do not fret. We got plenty of puzzles still cooking. Puzzle number 4 coming your way. And Joey, you are going first on this one. Here we've got
these
same
last names?
college, last names only. So we have 4 last names of 4 players that went to the same college, not necessarily or not necessarily at the same time. The only thing you know is that they all went to the same university to play college football.
Okay.
Would you like a question,
right.
Joey?
Question. Yeah.
Okay. My question for you is in the week 1 matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who does the FanDuel Sportsbook currently have favored to win?
Between the 49ers and Steelers?
Between the 49ers and the Steelers.
Can you tell me where the game's being played?
In Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'll give that information to you. And the
September
7th, week 1 matchup of the San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers, which team is favored to win?
I'll say San Fran.
Joey, you were right. At a line of minus 2.5, San Fran is favored to win that game. Which letter would you like?
N.
N as in no, there's not any N's in this puzzle?
Probably. Oh, man. That stinks.
I did not know that there actually weren't any N's in this puzzle, but
your joke worked out for you, didn't it?
It did work out. Geoff, that is on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this?
I like a question, and this is going to be hard for me because I literally watch absolutely zero college football, so I can't tell you where anybody played. So this is going to be interesting. But yeah, let me get a question.
Maybe you can shape the names together slowly as the letters start popping up. What I want to know is in the week 1 matchup of the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons, which team is currently favored to win on the FanDuel Sportsbook?
Ugh, that's an ugly game. Panthers, Falcons. Falcons got the better skill players overall, so I'm going to go with the Falcons here.
I thought that was a really tough one, but you got it right, Geoff. That is going to be a letter guess for you. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with when I started with all the other ones, T.
T. 2 T's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,000 to your round bank. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to solve?
Let's buy a vowel. Let me get an E.
An E. There are 2 E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Your options remain the same. What would you like to do?
Give me a question.
Okay, question number 2. What I want to know is which player had more receiving touchdowns last season? Which player had more receiving touchdowns? Was it Jerick McKinnon or was it Devonta Smith?
Oh, that is tough. And I had both of them on that championship roster that I just mentioned. Jerick McKinnon had like a crazy run towards the end there. I'm going to go Jerick McKinnon.
You saw right through my trick with 9 to Devonta Smith 7. Jerick McKinnon was a monster. He was like top 6 in receiving touchdowns last season. Pretty incredible. Geoff, which letter would you like?
Let's go S.
Sorry, can you say that again?
S.
S as in Simon. Stop coming up with such stupid puzzles. There are 2 S's in there. Going to add another 1,000. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn if you would like to do so. We can move on to your third question, or you can go ahead and solve it.
Definitely can't solve it. Let me get... I feel like that name should be easy. Let me get an R.
It's you can buy a vowel, take another question, or solve.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Good question. Sorry about that.
I almost just clicked on the R and gave it to you. You said it with so much confidence that I was about to just change the rules of the game. Here is your third and final question of this round, Geoff. Which of these players had more receiving yards last season? Which of these players had more receiving yards? Was it Terry McLaurin or was it Brandon Ayuk?
Man, you keep doing those Washington and 49ers questions.
Oops. Yeah, the names are just popping out. I think it must be in my head.
I know McLaurin had a really down year because all of DC is sort of down on him. And Ayuk had a season that was pretty good. So I'm going to go with Ayuk on this one.
Ayuk, I'm sorry, is incorrect. Terry McLaurin had almost 1,200 receiving yards last year, 1,191 to Brandon Ayuk's 1,015. It's relatively close, but McLaurin put up a lot higher numbers than people realize.
Yeah. Just didn't have the touchdowns. Okay.
Didn't have the damn touchdowns. Joey, we are on to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve?
Ooh, give me one of them beautiful questions.
Okay, Joey, which of these players had more targets last season? More targets. Was it Deontay Johnson or was it Christian Kirk?
Oh, oh man, Simon, you're a jerk. I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson.
Joey, you would be absolutely correct. That was definitely a tough one. Which letter would you like?
Yeah, R.
R. There are 2 R's in this puzzle. We're going to
Okay.
add 1,000 to your round bank. You can choose to buy a vowel, you can choose to solve, or you can take another question.
Can I buy a vowel? Can I buy an A?
You can buy an A. There is 1 A in this puzzle. Would
So
you like
helpful. Thank
to
you.
buy another vowel? Would you like your second
I
question,
want
or
a
would you like to
question.
solve?
I want a question.
Defeated by 1 vowel purchase. Joey, which of these players had more receiving
Scared.
yards? Which of these players had more receiving yards last season? Was it TJ Hawkinson or was it Alan Lazard?
I'll go Lazard.
I'm sorry, Joey. At 914 to Lazard's 788, TJ Hawkinson had more receiving yards, which means, Jeff, we are back to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve? Or would you like to buy a vowel?
I'm going to take a shot at solving it. I don't know that first name, but I think it could be. So I'm just going to guess it and hope it's right. So I'm going with Mills, McCaffrey, Ertz, and Schultz.
This is Mills, McCaffrey, Ertz, and Schultz. That is absolutely correct, Jeff. Going to earn you $1,800 into your bank, bringing you up to $6,900. These are all Stanford players that are making it.
Would have never known that. I knew McCaffrey was, and he's the only one I actually knew. The other ones I just tried to figure out the names. The Mills one I was a little confused because he only had the S there. I was like, it could be a couple different names.
Could be Davis. Could be anything. Jeff, besides McCaffrey, are there any of these players that you have any level of excitement to draft this year in fantasy?
Schultz, definitely good. I love Schultz in that offense. I think he's probably going to be one of the more targeted players, if not the most targeted player in that offense. Rookie quarterback, obviously going to be, looking over the middle of the field. It's a safe bet for Schultz. He'll be a target monster. So yeah, give me Schultz in this group here.
Joey, I saw you nodding your head along. Are you in on Schultz in that Houston offense as well?
Absolutely. He could lead the team in targets. Can I throw another Stanford player that's not listed here that I like in really deep leagues?
Yeah.
Elijah Higgins, tight end for the Dolphins. He's a rookie tight end, but if you're in any type of dynasty league, he's got that basketball player profile, and the Dolphins don't really have a receiving tight end right now that's worth anything. Sorry, all the Smither truthers out there, but I really like Elijah Higgins. The more I watch his film and I look into him, so if you've got a deep roster spot and he's floating around there on your waiver wire, go pick him up.
Was he the one that was a receiver in college and they drafted him as a tight end? Yeah, I remember reading about him. Good call.
Doesn't it usually go the other way? Like a tight end in college and then becomes a receiver in the NFL?
Yeah,
most of the time. You're not as big as you were in college whenever you get surrounded by NFL bodies. Sometimes those college tight end bodies, depending on the conference, turn into NFL wide receivers. Craig in here said, I hope they are all from FSU, just for Joey. I wouldn't do that.
I would have sniffed that out right away because I could have smelled them. Because they're
smelled the Tallahassee stink on each and every one of them.
Disgusting stuff.
This is an anti-Tallahassee show, Jeff, so I apologize if you love that city. Dustin down here came in saying second one is McCaffrey, then Ertz. And Andrew, I almost giggled during the middle of it. Said, bro, that one that starts with an E is messing me up. Oh, never mind. It's Ertz. Just came in with that. Craig came in getting all Stanford players. Schultz. JL thought it was ETN on the E1, but Andrew was the first one to put it all together with Mills, McCaffrey, Ertz, Schultz. Nice job, Andrew, on that one.
Did he beat me? I've obviously done the chat up. Did he beat me to the question?
Ever so slightly. It was very close on that one, but he did beat you. Dustin down here with the so proud of Joey with the deep dive player.
Thank you,
Joey
Dustin.
loves the deep dive, especially on Dolphins tight ends.
And sometimes dumpsters, too. I like to deep dive into dumpsters.
When my first college apartment, there was a guy who always was in the dumpster. Like I would say 50% of the time when I walked by the dumpster, he was in there looking for stuff. And I tried to talk to him one day because he was in there all the time. And he was so mean, like just really violent.
That's his dumpster. Why were you talking to him?
I know.
Simon, oh, my God. Did you meet Oscar the Grouch?
I was just about to say, it was like every stereotype. But if Oscar the Grouch got turned into a person, he lived in the dumpster at my first college apartment. Wow. He carried around a stick and yelled at you if you tried to talk to him. Not a nice guy. All right. Well, Jeff, you've got quite a lead here, but Joey still has time to try to mount a comeback. It is not over yet But Jeff, since you solved that one, Joey's going to go first on this next puzzle as well. Puzzle number 5.
Okay. Oh God, why does it be a saying?
This is an NFL player saying mashup. So just things that people say, like sayings, like don't count your chickens before they hatch or something like that. But not that one, because then I would have just given you most of the answer. Joey, you're up first. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question, please.
Okay, Joey, my question for you is, which of these players had more rushing yards last season? Which of these players had more rushing yards last season? Was it Najee Harris or was it Ezekiel Elliott?
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris is absolutely correct. Which letter would you like?
I'm going to steal Jeff's letter. T.
T.
Oh,
That's great. That is so awesome.
Oh, Joey, no matter what you do, this game is out to get you today, it seems
my
like.
My kids have kicked me out of bed the last 2 nights. Jeff's playing an amazing game, so this is all him right now. But I'm missing my own stuff here. My kids have been kicking me out of bed to get in bed with my wife. It's in the middle of the night. I sleep on the couch. I don't sleep well out there. I'm off my game right now.
Okay, Joey, I'll text your wife and try to get you back in the game.
Stop texting my wife, Simon. We talked about this before the show.
Sorry.
Stop it.
Okay. I'll stop at the end of the week. We were in the middle of some conversations, but after Friday, I'll stop texting.
You can continue to sext her. I just don't want you actually corresponding.
Just no conversation, no emotion, just physical.
No words.
Okay. Well, no problem then. Jeff, it is on to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or would you like Joey's wife's phone number?
I'll put it in the chat.
Question.
Okay. My question for you is, which of these players had more rushing yards last season? Which of these players had more rushing yards? Was it Dalvin Cook or was it Ramondre Stevenson?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think Cook had a lot more yards than people thought he did last year. But Ramondre also had a really good season. I'm going to take Dalvin Cook on this one.
You would be absolutely right. Most people don't realize he had 1,173 yards last year. People acting like he's a washed up running back about to get signed with the team. Dude's had 4 consecutive 1,100-yard seasons. Jeff, which letter would you like in this puzzle?
Let's go with S.
S. There are 3 S's here. Going to add 1,500 to your round bank. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to solve?
Let's buy a vowel. Let's buy an E.
An E. There are 2 E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Your options remain the same. You can buy another vowel, solve, or take your second question.
All right, give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more rushing touchdowns last year? Which of these players had more rushing touchdowns? Was it Cordero Patterson or was it Cam Akers?
Ooh.
I'm going to change that. They were only 1 apart, so I'm going to ask you a different question. That was my bad there. Which of these players had more rushing touchdowns last year? Which of these players had more rushing touchdowns? Was it Joe Mixon or was it Breece Hall?
Oh, Breece Hall missed a lot of the season last year. But Joe Mixon was rumored that he would be cut this season. So I'm going to go Mixon just because he played most of the games last year.
Despite Breece Hall's 4 touchdowns in only 7 games, Mixon did beat him 7-4. Which letter would you like, Jeff?
Let's go with an R.
An R. There are 4 R's in this puzzle. Going to add $2,000 to your round bank, bringing you up to $3,300. Would you like to buy a vowel? This is your last opportunity to do so this turn, or we can move on to your third and final question, or you can solve.
Definitely can't solve. Let me do one more question here.
Okay. My last question for you is, who had more rushing yards last season? Back to rushing yards. Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Isaiah Pacheco or was it Tyler Algier?
Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards. That I know for sure. I don't think Pacheco got to 1,000 yards. So let me go with Tyler Algier here.
You would be right. Pacheco got to 830, but not quite 1,000. Which letter would you like, Jeff?
Crap. Which one I want?
Get this right. You will bank this money. Get it wrong. It's going to be Joey's turn anyways, but you won't get any money.
Let's go with an H.
An H. There is 1 H in this puzzle. Going to add 500. Jeff, you've got 5 seconds to solve if you know it. Otherwise, we will move on to Joey. Joey, we are going to move on to your turn. Would you like to solve this puzzle? You want to solve it?
Yep.
God, I have it now.
April showers bring Zay Flowers.
April showers bring Zay Flowers, but what does the Zay Flowers bring?
I almost messed it up because I think it's brings April showers brings May flowers.
Yeah, April showers brings May flowers is the phrase, but it's bringing Zay Flowers.
Okay.
Joey, you're gonna earn $1,000 for solving that one. But before we move on, this Baltimore wide receiver situation
Jeff banked all his money, by the way.
Oh yeah, how much was in there? 3,300.
I was 38.
38. Oh, you're right, because he got an additional 500 for that last letter that he got in there. So I'm gonna do some math and I'll get that added in there while you guys are telling me about what the hell you think is going on with this Baltimore wide receiver court. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, Mark Andrews is probably the lead guy. But Joey, if you're drafting one of these other wide receivers, which one is it? Who do you think has the best chance to lead this team in targets?
I'll tell you that I'm drafting Odell Beckham third out of this group. And then I'll take whichever goes second. Because I really think that they're pretty equal as far as what their potential is on this season. Now, if Bateman's healthy, he would definitely be my wide receiver one. I just need to see that from him. I do like Zay Flowers. I think him and Lamar Jackson can be really good together. If I had to pick one, I'll take Bateman, though.
Jeff, are you agreeing that Bateman's the one that you want, or do you have some more optimism for this rookie?
So I want to say Bateman because I famously traded back from the pick that I could have had Jalen Waddle in my rookie draft to get Bateman because I had Bateman ranked a little bit higher than Waddle. Regretting that decision, obviously. But I'm going to go Zay Flowers here. I think he is going to work the underneath. I think he's going to have the PPR numbers. I think Bateman will have the bigger games. He'll have the games where he just blows up and wins you a whole week. But I think Zay Flowers stays consistent. He gets the PPR floor and continues, that all season long and ends up with more points in the season.
I differ a little bit. I'm drafting a lot of Odell Beckham this year. Not that I think he's the most likely. I just have so much uncertainty with this offense, especially with the change in offensive coordinator there, all the new bodies in town. It really could go to any of these guys. Even if he's the one I think is least probable, he's also the cheapest by a couple of rounds. And I'll take that shot that he's the guy in this Todd Monken offense after Mark Andrews. But that being said, I tend to agree with you guys that he is probably the least likely out of the three to do it, but I'm just drafting him at cost.
Does this kind of remind you of the Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans season with the Bucks?
Oh, I hope
where
so.
It was just where it's one game, it's going to be each game there'll be two of these guys that'll be good, plus Mark Andrews. So
that was a fun year. I mean, you could plug those guys in, and you had a 66% chance of getting at least 15 PPR points, while the other one just got you like one or nothing down there. Yeah. The chat was on this one. JL came in very early, almost had it with one in hand equal to Bush's. Very close. And then Mr. Scampers thought it was the Lost St. Brown brother, 2 Bushes. And then JL came in 2 Bushes, St. Brown 101. Joey, where do you stand on 2 Bushes, St. Brown?
I'd rather have 2 Bushes. Nice.
Than 2 Bushes, St. Brown.
Yeah.
Scampers came in here and got this one right as well. Nice job, Scampers. And we got Tabitha joining us. What's up, Tabitha? Welcome in, Joey's mother.
My mom's watching. Fantastic.
She said, Simon, I missed you. I missed you too. Glad you stopped by today. And we got right in here saying Joey is number 1, top tier, the best.
Thanks. Right.
Yeah, right.
I think that's my sister. Because why wouldn't it be?
Are you supposed to read it the other way? Joey is number 1, top tier, the best. Yeah, right.
That's my burner. That's my burner, guys. I just need some support. I'm getting crushed today.
Well, Joey, you earned a little bit of money there, bringing you up to $2,500. Unfortunately, Jeff still earned more money on that one, even though he did not solve the puzzle. So you got a little bit of a hole here, but we got time for one more puzzle. Maybe this is the one that pulls it all together. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Here's puzzle number 6. It is an NFL player store mashup. So this is a store that you may go to. You heard of stores. Everyone here familiar with the concept? Walk in, give them money, buy things, leave. So it's going to be one of those. Joey, you solved that one, which means, Jeff, you're up first here. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Let's go with the question.
Okay. My question for you is, which of these players had more receiving yards last year? Which of these players had more receiving yards? Was it Mike Evans or was it T. Higgins?
Oh, that Bucs offense was pretty bad last year, but Evans had that game at the end of the season that just blew up. So let me go Mike Evans here.
And you would be absolutely right. And it was that last game that pushed him over whoever the hell I asked you if he scored more yards then. I forget already. Jeff Higgins. That's right. Jeff, you got that one right, which means you get to guess a letter. Which consonant would you like?
Going with the T.
A T. There are 2 T's in this puzzle. Going to add 1K to your score. Joey, that is so unfortunate that the one and only puzzle where no T's were in there was the one that you guessed T on. Geoff, would you like another question? Would you like to solve or would you like to buy a vowel?
It's got to be a question here.
Before you do that, Craig in here letting you know 15,100 is the record.
Oof.
If you want to shoot for it here, Geoff, here is your next question. According to the FanDuel Sportsbook, which team is favored to win in the Week 1 matchup of the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos?
Las Vegas Raiders at Denver Broncos. It's got to be, with all the question marks around quarterback, it's got to be the Broncos.
You would be right by 3.5 points at home. It is the Denver Broncos. Which letter would you like, Geoff?
Let's do S.
S. There are 3 S's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,500 to your round score. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like another question? Or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Let me buy an E.
An E. There are 2 E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Your options remain the same.
It's got to be a question.
Okay. My question for you, Geoff, is who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? We are back to PPR fantasy points. Was it Amari Cooper or was it Dak Prescott? This is in a 4-point per passing touchdown league.
4-point passing touchdown. I know Dak Prescott had a bad year, and Amari Cooper had a surprisingly good year, even though he was very quiet. Let me go with Amari Cooper here.
Outscoring the quarterback, it is Amari Cooper. Nice job there, Geoff. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an R.
An R. If this is up there, you're going to bank this money. There is 1 R earning you $500 additional dollars. You're going to bank all 2,800 here, but you got 5 seconds to solve if you can do so. Joey, we are going to move on to you here. Would you like to solve this puzzle? Would you like a question?
I know Go ahead.
Those are your only options because you don't have enough money to buy vowels.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a question because I don't have it completely solved. I mean, I got the player, but I figure out how to store. Yep.
Okay. My question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Drake London or was it Travis Etienne Jr.?
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne is correct by about 40 PPR fantasy points. Which letter would you like?
H.
There are 2 H's in this puzzle, Joey. Bring in $1,000 into that round bank. You can choose to buy a vowel. You can take question number 2, or you can solve.
I'm not going to win, so I want to buy a vowel because I want to try to solve it. I.
There is 1 I in this puzzle.
Can I buy a U?
You can buy an U. And there are 3 U's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 300, meaning you can still buy vowels if you would like to do so. You can take another question or you can solve.
Maybe I don't shop enough. I don't know. I'll take a question.
Okay, Joey, my question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Mark Andrews or was it Cordero Patterson?
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews is correct. Which letter would you like?
An M.
An M. There is 2 M's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000. Joey, was that your second question or your third question then?
That was my second question.
Second question.
I need another question. I don't know.
Okay. Question number 3 coming your way. Joey, which of these players had more receiving yards last season? Which of these players had more receiving yards? Was it Zay Jones or was it Austin Eckler?
Oh, that's a rude question. And you're a rude man for asking me that question. So Austin Eckler was second in the league with running backs for receiving yards. Zay Jones had like 900. I don't think he had 1,000. Christian McCaffrey was first. He had over 1,000. I'm still going to say Eckler, though.
I'm sorry, Joey, by about 100 yards. It was Zay Jones.
By 100 yards, that's the line for you? When I make this game, it's like, oh, my God.
I said about 100. It was 101, Joey.
Oh,
101 yards. Geoff,
you.
that means we're on to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I feel like I should be able to solve it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Evan Ingram or was it Mike Williams?
Evan Ingram, Mike Williams. I'm going to go Evan Ingram here.
I'm sorry. It was Mike Williams with about 150 more receiving yards than Evan Ingram last year. Joey, we're back to you. Would you like a question?
Yeah, question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Chris Godwin or was it Cooper Kupp?
Godwin.
Godwin is correct by about 200 receiving yards. Kupp did his best in that short amount of time, though. Which letter would you like, Joey?
I'm wondering if you're going to try to trick me, and there's no J because like that's where the mashup is. So I'm going to take the C to see if a C pops up somewhere.
There's one C in this puzzle. Going to add 500, Joey.
I will say Juju Smith-Schuster would have been a good one for this.
Damn it. Bad team names. We'll throw that one up there at some point.
I want a question.
Okay. My question for you, Joey, is which of these players had more receiving yards last season? Which of these players had more receiving yards? Was it Jamar Chase or was it Devonta Smith?
Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith is correct. Which letter would you like?
Let me see if the J is there.
Okay. It is, Joey.
Okay.
That is 2 J is going to add $1,000. And was that your second or third question?
That was my second question.
Okay. As we came back to you, would you like to buy a vowel or would you like to move into your third question or would you like to solve?
My mother's a huge shopper. She's probably just dying right now because she knows this.
The chat's got it.
They do. Good job, chat. I'll take a question. I honestly don't know.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more receiving yards last season? Was it George Pickens or was it Deebo Samuel?
What was that? Receiving yards?
Yes.
I'll go Deebo Samuel still.
I'm sorry. It was George Pickens by over 200 receiving yards. Jeff, we're back to you.
That's a better
Would you like
one.
another question?
So I think I got the answer, and I want to go for that. What was that number again? Put that number up, that 15,000, whatever.
15,100, I believe.
And I get 1,000 points for getting the puzzle.
The
correct,
puzzle.
right?
So you would need an additional 1,000 from the letters.
All right, give me a question. I'm going for it.
Okay, my question for you is, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it DJ Moore or was it Keenan Allen?
Oh, Keenan Allen had a bad season because he was hurt a lot. DJ Moore had a couple really big games. I'm going DJ Moore here.
That would be correct. Which letter would you like, Jeff?
L.
There is one L in this puzzle, going to earn you $500. You can take another question. You can move on to the next vowel. That's not how those things work. Or you can choose to solve this puzzle.
So I'm going to risk it one more time, and I'm going to go for a question here.
Okay. Well, for all the marbles, potentially the record, which of these players had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Greg Dortch or was it Brandon Cooks?
Ooh, Greg Dortch had that stretch where I played him in DFS like every single week, but he didn't play a lot this season. I'm going Dortch on this one.
Jeff, I am so sorry. It was Brandon Cooks had more points, which means Joey, we're on to you. To steal the record, but not the win. Joey, what is this puzzle?
He wouldn't get the record. He would only get 1,000, which it'd be 4. So I don't feel so bad taking because I'm not actually taking the record away. It's Juju Smith-Schuster.
It is Juju Smith-Schuster. Like Lululemon Smith-Schuster. Joey,
I would have fallen on the sword just to let him get the record. I would have done that just to be clear. But
turns out I can't do math. But Joey, that is going to bring you up to a respectable 5,600.
That is respectable.
Solid chunk behind Jeff with one of the highest scores ever in this game at 13,500. Jeff, congratulations, my friend.
And I want to thank you so much to be here to do that. So,
hey, well, that was a big win for your 4th time here. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Everybody watching, if you're not already following our friend Jeff, go and remedy that right now. You can find him on Twitter at Geoff Lambert 77. It's right there below the dude's face on the screen, or you can find it in the link to this video wherever you're watching it on YouTube. That is going to be it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow with John Luke for some more fantasy football game show fun. Joey's sleeping in a bed tonight, and he's going to be on his A game tomorrow. Until then, though, we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll see y'all on another time.
Bye.
Adios, everyone.
Hey, Mom, if you're still watching, can you pick up the kids from school? Because I really don't want to do it tonight.